Welcome to today's video blog on Teams. This is the second in a series on Teams. The first one I sent out to a very small subgroup just to get their feedback on things, and the conversation was great. The dialogue was great, the questions and the feedback was terrific. So thought, hey, this could be a series based on the questions and feedback excuse me, and discussion from the first video blog. So I hope you guys all take something from this. Circling back, the first video blog was really about helping people delineate between work group and team and understand a little bit about what should be the output and the result of working on a team versus what's the outcome, the output and the result of working with a work group. Many people in today's society, really want to work with teams. They really want to work on teams, and it's teams. The importance of teams has been popularized so much. Important for you to connect. When is it most appropriate to be part of a team versus when is it most appropriate to be part of a work group versus when is it most appropriate for me as a leader just to make a decision for everybody. And then also for people to have some context so they can understand, am I part of a work group or am I part of a team? I really wanted to be part of a team, but we're not operating this way. Maybe we need to move to this way. Or I really wanted to be part of a work group, but we're functioning more as a team. Maybe we need to change our behaviors. So that was the way I was hoping to influence, excuse me, and still want to influence that way with this information today. So I hope you get a lot of good, juicy stuff out of this. So let's start with unpacking and developing more clarity on work group. Work groups are characterized by the people in the group having individual goals. And those individual goals are usually set by the leader. So let's use the example of a sales force. So the sales manager would set the individual goals. So that would be my sales target. So maybe my sales target is $1 million for the fiscal year. Okay, so that's set by my sales manager, and that's my individual goal. That's my goal. It has nothing to do with anybody else. No one else is going to help me to do that. I go out and I go and try to achieve that goal. Work groups, how people in work groups work together is characterized by independent work. So I'm going to work independently. From a sales perspective, maybe I'm the sales rep for the eastern seaboard or the eastern side of the continent or the eastern part of the country. That's my region. That's the area where I try to generate my $1 million in sales. There's someone for the western seaboard, there's someone for the northern part of the continent or the country, there's someone for the south, there's someone for the central, and we all work independently to achieve our independent sales goals. Work groups are characterized by a level of individual accountability. So I'm responsible for the work that I put out, I'm responsible for doing the day-to-day behaviors to achieve my goals, and I'm responsible to keep myself accountable to the processes that are going to help me to be successful. None of the other sales reps are going to come to me and say, hey, you took a day off today, or hey, you were golfing today instead of, meeting with clients, or hey, you started work today at 11 instead of at 9. Those are things that I have to hold myself accountable to. And finally, I'm going to try my best to be effective. I'm going to try my best to do my job, my best, and be my best to achieve the individual sales goal that was set for me. So that's work group. Let's move over to team now. So teams are different in that teams have a common goal. So let's use the example of a sport team. Okay, I like basketball, so we'll use basketball. The goal could be we want to win the game. Okay, and that becomes, or it's important that is a collective goal. Where teams fall apart is when there are people who have individual goals and they're not bought into the common goal. But high-performing teams buy into the common goal. And so if it's a sport team, again, it's that we win. Okay, this differs from work groups who have individual goals. In high-performing teams, work is done interdependently. So we work together. We collaborate to pursue and hopefully achieve that common goal. Different than work groups who work independently to achieve their individual goals. And you see this like on a basketball court. People pass the ball. People defend together. There's team defense. There's team offenses that they run so that they work together effectively. teams, high-performing teams, are characterized by mutual accountability, so individual and mutual accountability. So first of all, I'm responsible. I have to hold myself accountable to doing the things that are going to bring me individual success, but also the team success. But where teams are on another level of accountability is there's a level of mutual accountability where I hold my teammates accountable. So if we have a best practice or a norm of, everyone has to, we want everyone at practice 15 minutes ahead of time. And so first I've got to hold myself accountable to that by making sure that I'm at practice 15 minutes ahead of time, ahead of the start time of practice. But then if a teammate of mine doesn't seem to be aligned with that norm, so that means they're not coming in 15 minutes ahead of time, it's my job to engage them in a conversation about that and try to hold them accountable. Hey, what happened? Was there traffic this morning? Sometimes there's things that come up and we just, it is what it is. Other times people stop connecting with those best practices and those processes that everyone has agreed on for the team to be successful. So that's when we have to hold our teammates accountable for us to be successful in achieving our common goal. So if someone is just usurping those rules of coming in 15 minutes ahead of practice, I've got to hold them accountable. I have to check in and see if they're okay, if there's some outstanding reason why they couldn't be there today. And if that's the case, then that's fine. If there wasn't, then I've got to say, hey, that's one of our best practices. That's one of our norms. Try your best to be there on time, and try to hold them accountable. The next characteristic for high-performing teams is if the high-performing team members are effective and supportive. So effective means I do my job. I do my job to the best of my ability. Supportive means that I help my teammates to do their job. There's an analogy I really like to use, is that in work teams, there's my notes. In work teams, my contribution to the team would be, I characterize it as one. So, and it's one unit. And that one unit is really me doing my job and just focusing on my contribution, what I do and what I bring to the team. In a high performance team, my contribution would be like a 1.5. So the one is my job and me doing my work and my part of things. But the 0.5 is me contributing to my teammates being successful. And this is the exponential effect of high performing teams, is that instead of everyone just giving 1, everyone's giving 1.5, and as such the total product of what we put together is greater than the individual product of the sum of the individual product that we would each put out independently. Again, using an example of Salesforce, again, I have my sales goal, I go out and I knock it down and I bring in my $1 million a year. On a team, especially a basketball team, one of my jobs may be to defend a player. So when a player on the other team has the ball, I defend that player. I keep them from scoring. When that player does not have the ball, I have a responsibility to help and to support my teammates. If just in case they get beat off the dribble, they get beat one-on-one, I've got to offer some support to them. So that's the 0.5. On offense, maybe when I have the ball, maybe my job is to try to score, try to dribble to the hoop or shoot and score. When I have the ball. When I'm off the ball, my job is to facilitate spacing, to facilitate ball movement and flow, and that's the 0.5. There's other aspects of that, but that would be some of the 0.5 to support the team's overall success. So I hope that offers a little bit more clarity on work group versus work team. Now, there's times when it is better for you to function as a work group, and that Salesforce example is a great example. Sometimes it's best to just divide, conquer, and get it done, and that's the most efficient and effective way to get things done. And that sales example again is a good example. Then there's times when it's best that we're functioning as a team, and the basketball, the sport example, is a very, very good one, where we need more than just my individual contribution. We also need that 0.5 that I exert to support my teammates. So I hope you've taken something important from today. Again, I want your feedback. I want this to be a discussion. So give me your questions, give me your challenges. Send me your concerns, and let's continue this discussion, and so that everyone can learn from these best practices and the research that's out there about teams.